well, it's Damon and Ted here with, I guess we're calling this the I'm Just Saying podcast.
Yeah, can I bring up something is that you decided, hey, let's have a podcast. Let's have two of us. Let's be on it together. Let's talk about our shared events and stories. And then let's call it I'm Just Saying. So welcome to I'm Just Saying with Narcissist and Ted. This is the first episode. Back to you, Narcissist.
Well, I'm the narcissist that needs a haircut, according to you.
Yeah, I wish people could see this so everyone could be throwing up in the studio like I am.
We are amidst COVID-19, so
I don't know if we can say that legally.
Huh?
No, what? Sorry.
Cannot say that?
I don't know.
So what?
I don't know what the rules are.
Oh, you can't make the rules.
I didn't say I made the rules. I said I don't know the rules.
I'm just saying COVID-19.
Okay, fair enough.
Just said. So anyway, we're amidst that. So I cannot get a haircut. I know what I'm working with. So kind of rocking some headbands. Didn't bring them today. So
gross.
Yeah. Well, what do you got going on over there for yourself?
I have no hair, so it doesn't matter. It could be
That's solid. Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse. It could be the end of the world. It could be Tuesday. It's the same look every day.
Yeah.
So you just take your I need a haircut and you can go shove it.
Yeah. Well, self-isolation. I require friends to look good.
You do a lot of self stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like the self-isolation is new to you.
I will say, though, when you walked in and I saw the jersey you had on, now is that new?
No, but I only wear it for special occasions, so you should feel honored.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. What's the special occasion today?
It's your anniversary. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you texted me earlier. Hey, are you allowed to do this today? Because it's your anniversary.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well.
Surprising, to be honest with you.
We can't go out for dinner or do anything else. And
so you can't go out to dinner, can't do anything fun. I'll go talk to this jackass. Best present. Guess what? I'm going to leave for a while. Do whatever you want. Yeah, this is probably the first time you've been away for a while, right?
Think about it.
Yeah.
You're the only one suffering here. It's not anybody else.
That is true.
So, but no, he's got a 121 gigawatts jersey on. It's awesome. And it's got a license plate on the sleeve that says out of time.
It also has my name on the back spelled correctly.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
2 L's.
2 L's.
Why is there 2 L's, Ted?
I haven't had the second L kicked out of me yet.
Yeah. A second L silent, folks, in case you're pronouncing this at home.
Third one's invisible.
Yeah.
That's the
so
problem.
It's Wilson. Yeah. Wilson. Yeah. Pronounced French is it's Wilson.
I didn't want my whole name on this, but sure, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying it's Wilson. Yeah. If you say I'm just saying, it counts.
Does it? That just overwrites everything?
And we could have just called this with all due respect. We could call this whatever we want, as long as I can say whatever I want to say and go from there.
People to listen to this. That's the best part.
So our premise, realistically, is we usually banter with each other about everything, every minute of every day that we're together, or talking or texting. And a lot of people find that, I don't know, remotely entertaining, I guess. And I don't know, we get a kick out of making people smile.
I've got $5 in my wallet. Apparently, according to your math, I have a lot of money then.
Well, I'm just saying I would take that $5 if you wanted to give it out.
You probably would right now. That's true.
But
that is true. All we do is banter. We've never had a serious conversation in the 30 plus years we've known each other. It's always just, I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. And it usually ends with someone getting a big laugh, mic drop, and you walk away. And then, you mentally file that away for later on. And usually those topics die, though.
Yeah. Or sometimes we don't talk for 5 years. It's either way. I feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is actually the anniversary of us talking for 30 years. So we got a lot to get out. So, but no, what we did is we said we texted each other a list of like 5 or 7 things, 8 things, whatever. And we said, hey, these will be like topics we'll talk about. And a lot of it is stuff we did together when we were trying to get this thing going before, 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Should we talk about that? Should we talk about the trials and tribulations of trying to get a podcast together by 2 dumb idiots?
Yeah. Yeah. In my basement on a laptop.
Yeah. On a laptop with 2 mics that weren't compatible with the laptop or each other.
Right. Right. Kind of like us.
Yeah. I was good. Oh, you got ahead of me on that one. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was pretty crazy because we actually had 2 really nice Yeti mics. We plug them in and we're only getting sound off one. Can't hear anything Ted's saying on the other side of the table. Again, I was not upset, but one of us was.
I'm kind of sure surprised you didn't roll with that.
Yeah.
Just go right ahead with it.
Yeah,
Ted, you're great. We got your levels fine. Everyone can hear you.
Yeah.
Just keep talking. It'd be great.
That recording was really my favorite so far. So, but no, so we did that in the basement. We got probably, I don't know, an hour and a half worth of material. If you cut it up, probably 14 minutes of entertainment, but we talked about all kinds of different topics and we thought that's going to be our thing going forward is we'll talk about just different topics. And most of this stuff we've gone to Cooter's Last Stand. On the way home from there,
Should we clarify what that is for the people that at home?
Cooter's Last Stand, Dukes of Hazzard. Come on, if you're not a Dukes of Hazzard fan, you know what? Then
for the people that aren't, Cooter was the mechanic friend who lived in town, who had a garage. It was so, and he is name of I'm totally blanking on this. Ben something.
Yeah,
what's his name? His real name. Anyway, it was his farm in Virginia, which is close to my sister's farm in Virginia. So we drove out there for a Dukes of Hazzard festival called Cooter's Last Stand, and
which all the cast was there except for Roscoe wasn't there. And James Best, right?
James Best and Sorrel Book, J.D.
Correct.
Hogg,
Correct. And Uncle Jesse had passed.
Right, Uncle Jesse
had passed, but shortly after that, they had actually had Sheriff Little passed away.
Yes.
Not long after we went there. Correct. So like I said, as a kid, it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to go and see all these Generalese. Man, remember we rode on a monster truck. We rode in the back of a monster truck whipping donuts. We saw the world's worst Civil War reenactment. I've never seen a Civil War reenactment, so I was very excited. Ted, who's quite versed on the Civil War and in history, what was your take?
Well, it was interesting that they decided to do it in the field that was dedicated to the 25 porta potties.
Yes.
If you recall that. It was.
I will say that the South had a row of latrines that was far dominant to what the North had. However, the North had the monster truck we had just driven in previously, backing up the tank, or not the tank, the cannon.
That's true.
The cannon. And they took turns firing. I thought that's always great when it's like, hey, look, you just shot your gun. You wait a minute. It's my turn.
The elderly couple, though, on the fence right across that were just standing in the middle of the battlefield wondering what was going on in their backyard.
Yes.
Quite the touch.
And then I did notice that it was staked out very well, too. So, like, if any of them were to, like, dig their own latrines, Julie had already been there, so they would not hit a power line.
It was safe.
So it was really a well thought out. But no, I remember watching, I think it was the South that marched in, and there was somebody holding a bag chair with them. And I thought, man, I didn't know they had those back then. And then you clarified that was the guy who came out of the porta potty. So again, Ted set so much stuff. Just, it was amazing. We saw an actual guy fall off a horse. Remember?
We did. Yeah. I don't think that was, it was probably historically accurate, but I don't think it was planned.
It was one of my favorite parts. And then there was a guy hiding in the bush. This is the hand of God, guy hiding in a bush. We can see him. They're shooting on each other. The guy's just standing there like he's like John Rambo or something. It was awesome.
The best part is that the elderly couple who were all on the same side as him were hiding better than the guy in the bush.
Correct. And they were standing in their garden on their side of the fence watching this production. So it was like
wearing
I said,
like something like, Graham loves her kids sweatshirt, and he's all decked out. And
chain smoking away. Right. It was awesome. It was awesome. So that's my only Civil War reenactment I've ever seen. And I got to tell you, it's going to be hard to top that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, you're not going to have people, driving a monster truck through a Julie marked field.
Correct. Well, then we walked through the campsites and they had everybody there, and there's people on their iPads, like they're in the tents laying out and they're on their iPads. I'm like, I didn't know they had those back then.
Oh, you didn't know Lincoln formulated the Gettysburg Address on an iPad?
Yeah, he downloaded an app for spell check.
You thought he was more like a tablet guy, I'm sure. Is probably what you thought.
Yeah, I thought he was for sure using Mac products. I had no idea what was going on. It was crazy. But so we saw that.
But you brought that up. We were going to try to do some stuff from that location as well, and we tried Facebook Live, and we failed at that. We turned that on. Yeah. It didn't take, and then we realized 25 minutes later that it appeared to still be on after we thought it was off. And I don't know if you talk differently when you don't think you're being recorded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, for sure I do, because I was scared to death.
Yeah.
So
we considered just driving off the mountain right into the end of our lives, because we had said some things that probably shouldn't be aired ever.
Yeah. My inner thoughts were my outer thoughts, and my outer thoughts should not have been heard. And it was kind of weird, because then later on I looked at him like, we should try that Facebook Live again. He picks it up. It's probably 35 minutes later.
About that.
And he looks at me and he's white as a ghost. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, this clock's running on this thing. And I'm like, no way. And none of it went through. So
I will say I've never been happier for the hillbillies of the Appalachian Mountains who don't have cell coverage that made sure that footage never made it off my phone.
Yeah, that was amazing. So that was our Facebook Live. And I'll be honest with you, we should have known then that we were not adept enough to try to do a podcast. We couldn't Facebook Live, which really just like hit the button.
Yeah, it's literally hit the button, aiming at yourself.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was driving. So I was operating a motor vehicle, folks.
Oh,
I mean, I was doing my job. We got there safely.
Should we tell everyone how much I drove on this 3-day multiple mile trip
Well,
through many states.
well, since you're Luke Duke and I'm Bo Duke, we all know Bo Duke does the driving. So Bo Duke handled those chores.
That is correct. We had a Dodge Charger we had rented
Right.
to go to our.
Hey, not a cool one. A new one.
Not a good one.
A new one. Yeah.
It was the thought that counted, I guess.
Yeah.
And yes, I rode shotgun, or as Damon likes to call it, Luke Duke, the entire way.
Yeah, not shotgun, but like bow and arrow with TNT on it. You know what I mean? That's the Luke Duke. So
Now we're going deep cuts.
Yeah.
We're going deep cuts.
So, so we did that. We thought it'd be kind of neat. Hey, we're taking a Dodge Charger, which again, it looks nothing like any car that would have been there, you know. But the whole drive, I drove. I mean, I just kind of relied on you to do the technical stuff, which we failed miserably at. And when I say we, I'm saying we.
Now it's we.
I'm saying we.
Now it's
you know
we.
what? Because I feel bad for you.
Appreciate it.
So I feel bad for you. Plus, I was the one that was supposed to cut up the other podcast, and I figure if we ever get back to that, it's going to be an issue. But no, we do all these ventures, trying to, I don't know, I guess relive childhood a little bit, but have fun together. It's stuff we both really like, right?
Right. I think it's, we're trying to tell the stories that made us laugh then to see if they can make them laugh again.
Yeah.
Share them with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember so on the way back, when we got there, this is supposed to be a 2-day event. Well, it was a 3-day event, but we got there on Friday night. Remember, we went Saturday. We're there all day Saturday. And we thought, we're kind of thinking it's going to be like Disney World. We're so excited, la. Well, you see everything there is to see in a day. I mean, we did everything. Yeah. We saw everything.
I mean, it's pretty easy to see 2 acres of stuff in a day. It
wasn't right. Yeah, it was actually like glance left, glance right. Okay, we got it.
And an eighth of that was dedicated to the Porta Johns and the Civil War reenactment. So it wasn't as much as we thought it was going to be.
Right. So anyway, in doing that, we said, hey, let's not stay Sunday. Let's figure out something else. So we drove out of our way from Virginia.
Correct.
To go to North Carolina?
Yes, Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Yes, which might sound kind of familiar because it's actually Mayberry, North Carolina. It's the home of Andy Griffith.
That's correct.
Which, huge fan of that show as well growing up. So we drove there and saw some really cool nostalgic stuff and rode in a squad car.
Yeah, we rode in a
64, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 64 squad car. Hey, they ran the siren. It was awesome. Then they can only do it like once because they get in trouble from the local cops that don't like them running the siren even when they're doing the tours.
We went to a restaurant called Aunt B's, which turned out to be just some sort of low-rent Dairy Queen.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we thought we're going to go here, and they're going to have, like, mashed potatoes and the sit-down stuff, and you're going to be like, oh, I can't.
The highlight of a restaurant. They're going to have mashed potatoes.
Well,
quote Damon Bracchio.
Okay, whole trip. What was the highlight of my trip? What did I have with every meal?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese, correct. Ted is lactose intolerant, so mac and cheese is not on his menu, but I can tell you I ate enough for both of us.
Now that I can back up. That is absolutely correct.
That's legit.
So we thought we were going to go to like, a local Cracker Barrel kind of thing, like homesy, like folksy, like really good Southern eats, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Opposite. It was, and again, not knocking the area or this or that, but it like you really get your hopes up that you're going to go sit at a sit down like family restaurant. And it wasn't. It was very much like a Dairy Queen meets McDonald's meets McDowell's from Coming to America. You know what I mean? So
they did have the Big Mick. That's correct.
Yeah. It was just pretty crazy. You could tell they repurposed the building, and that's what it was. It was an old drive-through fast food place. So that was a little on the downside.
Well, the best part, you said, like, not to knock the area, but when we went back to the tourist part where we were going to get on the tour and look at some things, we told the lady at the counter where we had been, and she was like, "Oh, that place sucks. I could have said you someplace way better." Yeah. Like we were standing here, we were talking about it, lady, 45 minutes ago. So that's on you.
We made our reservation to go on this thing, and we're like, we got time to kill. What are we going to do? Hey, let's go to Aunt B's and go eat. We set it right in front of her. We come back. She's like, where'd you go?
Aunt B's.
Oh, that place sucks. You shouldn't have went there. I'm like, okay, well, and again, you're kind of like the tourist people in town. Don't tell people that place sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's our job.
Yeah. Thank you. Got it covered. Okay. Of the 4 people that listen to this podcast,
the 5 people that know,
they're never
going to know.
They are never going to go there. So, but we saw Andy Griffith's childhood home that he grew up in. That was pretty cool. Little white shack type house. And I guess the hotel chain there in town owns it, and you can still rent it. Like you can stay overnight in his childhood home. So that was kind of cool. We did not, because we are not lavish spenders, nor did we stay in town. We literally did this and then blew out of town coming home.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So we detoured out of the way to do that and then come home. But yeah, the whole trip overall was pretty neat. I tell you, the one thing that has been a staple with us ever since then is I had the most delicious deep fried Oreos.
I was wondering where this was going.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember that. Do you remember how laser focused you were for the deep fried Oreos?
I do. Yeah, that was it was pretty much tunnel vision. Yeah, we found that trailer. When I say we, me, and I stood in line. When I say we stood in line for 25 minutes.
It felt like an eternity. But, let me put it this way. This was your experience, but this is my story.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
We were walking around. It was, basically like a mini fair. They had the autograph area and the Civil War area and the car show and the memorabilia and T-shirts and stuff you can buy. And then they had, like food trucks and whatnot. And we had walked by and we saw people that had fried Oreos.
Delicious.
Yes. Apparently this was the literal holy grail for Damon.
Never had them.
And it had rained that day and it was muddy and everyone's kind of making lines as they can through the gravel and where it's not as muddy. So the line was kind of long and snaky. So it was kind of hard to tell where one food truck line started, one food truck line ended. And we're in line for the fried Oreos and Damon is talking to a lovely person in front of us because Damon likes to talk to anyone. And she's having a conversation with him and he's having a conversation with her. And they're just talking about like, oh, this is great. It's too bad about the weather. I've been to these before. This is really nice. And a gentleman comes up and says to the two of us, is this the line for the funnel cakes? I'm going to repeat that line so Damon can answer exactly how he did that day. Excuse me, is this the line for the funnel cakes?
Nope.
You say it like so easily now, but when the guy gentleman first, let's repeat it. You say it back to me. Is this the line for the funnel?
Is this the line for the funnel cakes?
No. Nope. You said it so angrily as if, how dare this son of a bitch ask you if this line for fried Oreos was the line for funnel cakes? Do you remember what the sign said on the trailer, Damon?
Yeah, it said fried Oreos.
Yes, and
Deep
right
fried
below
Oreos.
that, in the same size font, in the same coloring, it said funnel cake.
That may or may not be true. I really don't know.
And ribbon fries.
Yeah.
Did you even remember the ribbon fries?
I didn't remember either one of those, but I will tell you, folks, I found a picture on my phone from back then, and I sent it to Ted and said, look, the Oreos took top billing. They were top on the sign, so I didn't have to read any farther.
This man was so angry.
They could have sold caskets and barrels of monkeys, and it wouldn't matter. I had deep fried
friendly
Oreos.
gentleman just wanted to know if this is the line he had to wait in for a delicious funnel cake.
Yeah.
And
He asked the
Damon
wrong dude.
verbally kicked him right in the nuts. I've never seen someone so angry about a question that was so innocent.
Yeah, he asked the wrong dude. He really did. He really. You know what was funny though is I do remember like about 12 seconds after I had that encounter with him, where you then tried to correct me. The young lady I was talking to for about 20 minutes got out of line.
Well, this is the best part. We're in line for 20 minutes. Well, I don't know. Between the guy asking the question and this lady, it was a pretty good story. But we're in line for 20 minutes, and this conversation is pretty amicable. We're having a good, like I said, she's been to these before. This is her, like, what she likes to do. This is her thing. And we're having a conversation, and we're waiting in line, and we're getting really close. We're almost next. We're, maybe 4 or 5 people ahead of us.
Oh, you could smell it. It was
right there.
We were there.
So excited for this. Damon makes one comment too many about a gentleman walking by that looked like he had gotten dressed in a clown car.
Oh yeah, man! I took a picture for my wife,
right?
Because that's how bad it was.
Yeah, I've never seen these colors in nature, much less in clothes. And this gentleman was wearing them both on the top and bottom.
Right. And mind you, we're in Virginia at a Dukes of Hazzard event, and this one still stood out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might have had his teeth. That might have been what stood out about him. But she just bolts out of the line. Like, I can't take it anymore. I can listen to you for 25 minutes. I cannot do it for 26.
That just meant I got him one person sooner. It was pretty solid. It was pretty solid. Actually, if I could have done that about 15 minutes earlier, we would have ate a lot faster.
That is true. We got up to the front and they said, well, we only have enough to fill one order. We have to make more. And I said, please feed this man. He will eat my hand if I take these from you.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. If they'd have told me, hey, we just ran out of this, I'd be like, okay, then we got a problem.
Yeah. Well, we'd still be telling the story about the time that the food truck caught on fire.
Yeah.
With no witnesses.
With no witnesses. But
was that the truck for the fried Oreos? Nope.
I tell you what, I don't think it was that ignorant. I think I was being.
I
think I just wanted to set the guy in the right path. You know what I mean? And I just was misinformed because the sign was not legit. So it is what it is. That being said, the highlight of the weekend was the build to the car jump. Okay?
Wait, did they jump that car?
Yeah. Well, I know every video I have while we're waiting for the stunt crew to put together this jump. Now, when I say a jump, imagine a hay rack ride Okay. Everybody's been on a hay rack ride or on a hay rack. Imagine that, putting some ramps down, and then I don't know, about the same length of that hay rack, the hay rack, going out, putting another hay rack and ramps down. So you're jumping the car about what, 8 feet off the ground for about a 20-foot span. Okay, it's cooler than anything we saw on the way there. I gotcha.
It's the equivalent of if you were on a skateboard and you jumped over the sidewalk from your driveway to the driveway. You know what I mean?
It's equivalent if you were 16 years old and you just started driving and you didn't know the train tracks were that deep on the other side, and you hit those things and you hear your tires, zzz, you know what I mean? That's what it was. It was really nothing spectacular, and that was the jump.
I don't know if people know this, listening, the 5 people that started, the 4 people that are left.
Yeah.
Damon is not a patient man. Let's go back to the fried Oreo story. But we were waiting, and it's been raining. They were trying to make sure the ground was okay. The stuntmen were concerned because there wasn't a lot of traction, and there were a lot of people that weren't getting out of the way. And I would have liked to seen that, Darwin at its finest. But they were just trying to make sure everything's set.
Thinning of the herd.
About 8 seconds into this waiting, Damon starts this chant where, "Jump the car. When are they going to jump the car? Do you guys know they're going to jump the car? Are they going to jump the car? He's literally starting to hype. He's hype manning himself.
Yeah.
He's hype manning himself. Are they going to jump? Do you think they're going to jump? I think they're going to jump. Are they going to jump the car?
There's several hundred people that really feel I added to that equation, I'm sure. They're like, man.
Oh, yeah. All the montage videos I've seen of it, I noticed they don't cut up the section we were in because there were 12 drunk people and Damon screaming, "Jump the car!"
Yeah. I got a little chant going. But, and again, they got a gravel road they're driving down. Okay. And I mean, we're talking like they laid this gravel road.
A man-made gravel. Yeah.
Man-made
10
pea
seconds
gravel
per,
road.
Yeah.
And it rained.
To be fair,
like
all
crazy.
gravel roads are probably man-made.
Right.
But, it was made for this stunt. Right.
Well, it was made like that weekend for this stunt.
Yeah.
And when it rained, now you're getting grooves and ruts in it, just from the 4-wheelers driving down it to stock the trailers.
Well, they're letting people walk on it all day, too.
Right. So now picture this jump, too. So 2-lane country road. It's not even that wide. Okay. And they move people back about 20 feet off each side.
If that.
Okay. Now they're going to have a car hit a ramp at, I would guess, probably 40 mile an hour.
I was going to say 40, yeah.
40, maybe 50 mile an hour. They weren't flying.
No,
you know what I mean?
It was
literally,
jump,
even when they jumped, they weren't flying. I wanted to see the bottom of the car and be like, oh, that's what the exhaust looks like. Look at this. I saw nothing.
This is how many notes you would have gotten out of Dixie. And then the card's down. Like, right. Oh, never mind.
Right. But literally people were, and where the car was going to land, they're like, we got to move you back farther. They move everybody back 5 more feet. What
right.
The car's 20 feet long. So it already turned sideways. We're killing the first row of people. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that was the thing. Like, they wanted us to move back far enough so we'd be safe, but they were also, the jump was so small that they would have wanted us to move back so we wouldn't even notice it was off the hay racks.
Right. Hey, did they just jump the car?
No, I just think they just drove it from that hay rack to that hay rack. I think I want my money back.
Yeah,
and the best part, Damon, was it a 1969 Dodge Charger that made that jump?
No.
Do you recall what kind of car it was?
Oh, it was a Crown Vic.
It was a Ford Crown Vic.
It was a Ford Crown Vic. The stuntman, they went through the whole spiel about it. Nothing we want to know. We want to see the Charger. I don't care what you have underneath it. I don't care what you're jumping.
Yep.
Okay? I want to see the Charger. Don't ruin it for me. Okay? Man behind the curtain. It's a Wizard of Oz thing.
Well, I'm glad you went Wizard of Oz. I was thinking turning the lights on a prostitute, but yours is probably safer for the podcast.
Which, honestly, yeah, that's we've all been there too.
Yeah, you don't want to get underneath what's under that.
Right. But that being said, I just don't ruin it. It's my childhood. For 1 minute, which is all it really lasted from the time the car took off, I was 8 years old again. Right. I was 8 years old again, and I really enjoyed it. So I really, really, really didn't want him to tell me, hey, this is, we got a jet engine in this thing, so we can actually, it's like, I don't want to know that. I want to know that it's the same Dodge Charger they drove in the show.
Do you remember in the 25 minutes you were talking to that girl that took off 8 seconds before the Oreos?
Which, by the way, if you think that's the first time in my life that's ever happened, sadly mistaken. Yeah. And most time food was involved. But go ahead.
Yes, continue. You have not met Damon with a woman.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Today's my anniversary, though, so 16 years.
No comment.
Yeah.
She said this is where they're going to jump the car. And there was a car sitting on a hay rack. And we're like, no, this is just here for show, for pictures. Because we have a picture in front of that car.
Correct.
I would put that up if this was in a visual medium, but it's not.
Right.
But yeah, we have a picture in front of the car. Like, oh, look, a car that you can get a picture of. It's cool. Had we known then it was a Crown Vic, I would have tipped it off that hay rack.
Yeah.
But we were like, no, there's no way. They're not going to jump this. It's only 8 feet from the other thing. How are they going to jump it? And everyone's walking around here. Sure enough.
Yeah. But that's why too. It was such a controlled jump. I've seen other ones where
there's other ones. There's some that John Schneider does at his bow, but extravaganza, I think they call it, or whatever.
Yeah.
At his place, where they still do like a good.
Oh, they get 20, 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I watch that. I mean, they ruin the car that jumps. They when that car hits the ground, I mean, it's going to the body shop. It's done. This other one, when the guy drove it home, it was just like, okay. So, but that was our weekend. That was some stuff we've done.
Oh, we had planned that for like 18 months.
Yeah, we saw it popped up on Facebook. Yeah, social media. Come on, everybody's on social media. But it popped up, and we're like, first thing we did was send it to each other, like almost simultaneously, like, hey, we're going to this.
Right, and we thought it was the upcoming summer. Like, we don't have time, and I looked at the date. I'm like, no, it's next summer, and we're like, oh, we're doing it.
Right.
So we hyped it up for so long, and then we get there, and it,
yeah, and
15
again,
seconds.
And it was the jump was not worth the price of admission, but seeing all the cars.
Oh yeah. I would do it again. Absolutely, sure.
Remember they had the cheesiest ghetto wrestling there. I mean, it actually made the Civil War look pretty good.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. They had some wrestlers there that were, I mean, they're probably locals, but I mean, it was pretty crazy. But like I said, that was one weekend of us kind of doing that. So we had a lot of fun with that. We still not doing Facebook Live, but we did a lot of stuff on social media. We did a lot of stuff, post and different stuff like that.
Yeah, you did record stuff and post it later.
And we because I know how to do that. I can at least take a video on my phone, and later on I can be like, yeah, take this video and put it on there. I'm that smart. Not much more. But in doing so,
no comment.
Yeah, we had lots of comments. He's just keeping them to himself. But in doing so, we got a lot of feedback that's like, you guys need to do this more often. So then we've had a couple other trips where we've had some fun.
Yeah.
So we did. I'm a big Chris Cagle fan.
Oh, this is your story. This is
I'm a big Chris.
I legitimately huge Duke this story.
Huge Chris Cagle fan, and Ted has no idea who Chris Cagle is. Before we went to the thing, and Chris Cagle's a country music artist. He doesn't tour anymore, but he actually came around last year, right? Yeah, last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. River Ruckus in Iowa. Yeah, I'm not sure what town. I don't remember. Guthrie's. Guffey's,
something river.
Yeah, River Ruckus.
Oh, that's probably where it ties in. Sure.
Right. So anyway, we go to Iowa. I was supposed to go with my wife. She ended up not going, and that's okay. So I had another ticket. Ted's like, hey, so we saw it as an opportunity to let's do this. So I didn't have to fly solo and do it because I was going regardless. I'm that much of a fan, and it wasn't that expensive, So we go and do it. And we literally saw everything there was to see in Iowa, I feel.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that we didn't go to, like the northwest corner, but we saw everything. It's weird. Iowa's so bored that they will just take regular things and make large versions of it, and that's their stuff.
Yeah, Iowa's like the large capital of the world.
Yes,
like if it's a frying pan and it's big, Iowa. It's ours. It's ours.
Popcorn ball?
Popcorn ball.
Large?
Yeah. I've seen bigger. That was so you can write comments
this guy.
on the popcorn ball. Like you're like leaving a message, like a stamp in time that you were there for the world's largest popcorn ball in Iowa. And my comment was, I've seen bigger.
Every place you can make a comment.
Yeah.
Damon would make a comment saying that he had seen bigger.
I've seen bigger.
And then hashtagged it, I'm just saying.
Yeah. World's largest bowl.
World's largest bowl.
Which, by the way, was anatomically correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, anatomically correct. I'm not sure how the size relates because I've never studied them that much, but it had what it's supposed to have.
Yeah.
Again, while my hand was on that, I said I've seen bigger.
We paid to go see the world's largest gnome.
Oh my goodness.
They tried to give us a map and said, well, this is going to take you about this long to go through it. And we're like, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was at a college.
Yeah. It was at Iowa State, I want to think.
Yeah. Yeah. That was their horticulture center. They have the world's largest gnome, which I'm kind of offended because he was just slightly bigger than me. So it was just one of those things where it's like, wow.
Not wrong. Not lying.
I am almost the size
of
the
we almost
world's
walked
largest.
by it. I was like, oh wait, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damon,
really.
stand away from it's right behind you.
Damon, move. Damon. Oh, okay. There it is. Got it. Found it.
I mean, they had like an outside chess set that was bigger than the gnome, I felt.
Correct.
They could have put that in their brochure.
Yeah. They did chess set. They did, what did we do? Connect 4?
Connect 4, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the world's largest stuff is in Iowa. We had the frying pan. We had the bowl. The one truck stop that's on I-80.
Oh, yeah. I-80. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we went there and, it was a truck stop.
It's weird. They have the largest truck stop. They have the smallest buffet I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, correct. Well,
like, you realize how much room you have here, right? You could put this buffet like 18 miles longer, and we're good with the 6 sections. We're fine.
Yeah, yeah. And then we both decided we're like, hey, we're just gonna get the it's buffet or a salad bar or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
yeah. So we were like, we're gonna do that because they had a lot of cool stuff up there. But like Ted's saying, then you get to the other side, you're like, oh, it's the same stuff as the other side. Well, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel false advertising.
Yeah, yeah.
Just thrown around a
How
little bit
about
there.
how about it only in square footage? Is it the world's largest? But they pressed a lot of their merch. They had, like for the world's largest truck stop.
Yeah.
They had all the shirts. They had everything else. It was amazing how Iowa. We saw something. Buddy Holly, his plane crash. Those are probably the world's largest Harry Carey glasses. They were sitting in the middle of that field, right? So we drive down there, took our picture with those.
Yes, can we say who bit on that joke? The first person to bite on your Facebook post that
Go ahead,
you saw
Ted.
Harry Carey's glasses?
Who was it?
I believe her name was also Wilson.
With 2 L's.
That's correct.
Ted's mom.
That's right.
Yes, I love when I put something up and I'm having a good time, and it comes back with and Mrs. Wilson's awesome, but it comes back with a comment on there, and I look at Ted and I go, and I'm just smiling, and he knows.
I don't even have to know.
He
I
knew.
just know. Yeah.
He knew. So my post I think was just saw the birthplace of Harry Carey because the glasses were so huge.
And it's weird because they have paved roads all the way out to that and to the last 3 miles, and then suddenly it goes
Correct.
Dukes of Hazzard jump gravel.
Correct.
And people go out there, why can't they pave that road? And so then by that time, we're like, look, I don't want to go any further. The glasses are right on the road. The crash site is another, mile and a half down this fence line. And someone's like, well, you got to walk down there for the crash site.
What I asked Ted, did they move the bodies? He goes, yeah. I said, then we ain't going.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the guy's jaw just dropped all the way.
Yeah. I literally asked him right in front of the guy. They're like, you can't just go. You got to walk down there. And I'm like, did they move the bodies? And the guy just looks at me and Ted's like, yeah, they moved them. So I was like, you know what? Then we're out.
Yeah, we saw the world's largest jaw drop at that stage too.
Yeah, we're out. So,
but we did go to Field of Dreams though, which is nice that we went when we went now because I don't know what they're doing now, but before this COVID thing, they were supposed to be rebuilding it to have an actual MLB game out there.
Yeah, to play baseball there. That was pretty neat. We
saw that the last summer before the remodel, which was nice.
Right. No, that was frozen in time.
Yeah.
You just looked at that and it was like, wow, and I hadn't seen the movie in
Kevin
years.
Costner's career is still hanging out right there.
Correct. Yeah. He's the one that sells T-shirts. He sells the merch.
Yeah, well, now we're down to 3 listeners because he's out.
Yeah. But no, so when we do this stuff, we do it more, we document it more for everybody else to see what kind of kickback we get. And we usually get pretty good feedback from everybody with, oh, you guys got to do this, you got to do that, and even I was supposed to be in Disney right now today.
Well, how'd you win this lottery? Because you're sitting in a recording studio with me.
Correct. Well,
on your anniversary, no less.
Yeah. Yeah. We were supposed to be at Disney today, but of course, as we know, the world is closed. Not just Disney World, but the world is closed. So we're not there. But I usually document those travels too, and just, again, if Ted puts something on social media and I don't comment on it, I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Feel free to stay home from your job more than that's.
Yeah. He tried firing me several times.
Yeah, I've tried.
But
you're not employed by me. It's hard.
Right. But we do that to see what kind of feedback we get. And so far, like I said, it's been pretty good. But we go all the way back when we were kids, kindergarten, first grade.
Actually, you recently shared a photo of kindergarten, and I was not in it, so I'm going to go first grade.
First grade, correct? Yes, you were not in my kindergarten class. I was in the gifted class, folks. So for kindergarten.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You could poop right in your pants. It was gifted. It was quite the gift. No, but we decided we'd get together and talk about this kind of stuff. We would bring up things current things, past things that only we want to hear, apparently.
Yeah. And honestly, I think if people are interested, I'd love to have topics. I'd love to have topics.
Yeah, I'm sure they would love us to have topics.
I would love to have topics.
Right.
I would love to, from people that we know in our past, people we went to school with, people, teachers we had, family members, coworkers, previous coworkers, anybody that wants to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, if there's a story that involves me, you, and another guy, bring the other guy out of the woodwork and we'll figure it out. And the nice thing,
I'm glad that you labeled that me, you, and another guy, because there's some stories that we won't go into. And those of us who knows our history, we know why we won't go into them. But
with that, I think the topics would be nice, and I think we have the format here with how we're doing this, where we could take phone calls even if we wanted to, or we could place a phone call. So it might be kind of neat to get somebody like that.
Are you
after a while.
telling me in the year of our Lord 2020 we could place a phone call?
That's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Son of a gun.
Well, I've been sending the pigeons and nobody's sending them back, so I don't know.
Well, you flinging them out your car at 80 miles an hour probably isn't open.
Yeah, you got to take the fan out of the window first, Damon. You can't just fling them up the screen. They make a hell of a lot of noise when you send them out, but I've never had one come back.
But I promised myself I wouldn't laugh at you.
Yeah, I know. And I thought my hair would get you right out of the car, but hey, it is what it is.
People are missing a treat.
Well, remember, I used to have a mullet. And just so people know,
it was just as gross. Just
yeah,
so you know.
that's a party in the back, business on top. Right now, I have a party everywhere.
Wait, I don't need to know about that.
Yeah, no business.
You keep that 70s knowledge
the
to
top,
yourself.
the back. Now, Ted, different style. Grew up a ginger kid.
That's true.
What do we got going on now, Ted?
Actually, I don't. Do I get a soul now that I don't have any hair? Or how does that work?
I think
was that the trade-off?
Right. I think. Well, you lived how many years with the red hair? You got to go that many years without it, and then that's what happens.
Unfortunately, we might be catching up.
Yeah,
if not passing.
Yeah. So you were saved sometime. Saved or shaved? How's that go? How's that work? But yeah. So I understand your haircut is transcendent,
permanent. I think that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a couple tattoos away from Bam Bam Bigelow if you really want to go there. You know what I mean? You get a nice look going. So
such popular references we're pulling out right now. Do you guys remember Roscoe P. Coltrane and Bam Bam Bigelow?
I think see, Billy Idol gets it. That's how it works.
That would all let you have. That's a good one.
No, but I think between everything that we've said that is only like to our generation, this should be a hit. Yeah. You know what I mean? This should be.
So you're saying like
this has legs.
38 minutes of the 40 minutes we've been talking.
This has legs. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not working as well as they used to.
The millennials are definitely gonna hop on this stuff.
The millenniums?
The Millennium Falcons. There's another reference, and I don't even watch that. But I could have went on that.
You could have been at Disney.
I could have been on that ride.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Ted.
No problem.
Now my feelings are hurt again. Can we have a moment of silence for my trip that didn't happen?
Oh, I think we got a moment of silence about 35 minutes ago. This has just been for us.
Yeah. But anyway, this is kind of the format. And we realize in doing this, we have not talked since we've sent each other the list, and we've very minimal with our text.
And we covered maybe 2 of the things on the 20-item list.
Correct, which is good. So we've got like 19 podcasts off this list we sent ourselves already.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So which at 4 listeners apiece, that's like 40,000 people that are going to hear this. So speak clearly.
Let me try the math on that.
Yeah. It's 121 gigawatts. It's all good. But this is how we need to do it. Probably do it every couple of weeks. And hopefully people will like us and listen. And if nothing else, just to write nasty comments, because I tell you, I got thick skin. I got thick everything.
Yeah, like I say, it's not your skin, buddy.
Yeah, it's not the skin.
It's that layer between the bones and the skin that's thick.
It's protective. It's protective. Yeah. Yeah. It's baby fat. I'll grow out of it someday. Yeah, it's baby fat. But even for the comments, bring it.
I don't
bring
care.
it.
Say whatever you want.
That's fine. It's going to be fun. We're trying to keep it clean. I'm not trying to, swear up a storm or nothing like that. Where, I don't want to talk about
poopy.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about religion. I don't want to talk about politics really ever, even in my daily life.
Fine.
You know what I mean? But other than that, there's really nothing off that's not off limits.
Some of this I'm learning as we're going, but that's fine. Both of those I'm fine with.
Yeah, the meeting Ted and I are having now, open court,
right?
Is
we're
really
calling
good.
This episode 1, the meeting.
We are laying out the podcast that we have just done. So, but anyway, that's our thought. We do want to be at what? We'll be probably around 40 minutes.
Yeah. You know what we should do for episode 2 is maybe have places people can contact us and have the social set up. Maybe we should do that.
You think so?
Yeah. I would hope.
Yeah. So,
I'm not saying that will be episode 2. I'm saying by episode 2, we'll have this is where you can reach out to us and give us the ideas we just asked for 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Cause right now this is like we're kind of just half committed. You know what I mean? So we really should kind of jump in. Well, the place we're at, we could do YouTube channel. We could do all kinds of stuff. So it really depends on what kind of response we get. So I guess if you like Ted and you're friends with Ted in real life, you should download this podcast. You should subscribe to this podcast. And the reason I say that is because then you don't have to remember to download it. You can just subscribe to it. It'll tell you every other week or every week whenever it comes out. Hey, you got one. You got one here. Go listen to it. If you're friends with me, you should do the same thing. If you don't like Ted, then you're friends with me automatically.
Yeah,
So
well.
realistically, you should still download it.
Now that math checks out.
You know what I mean? So really, we are on the same team, and this podcast is for most of those people. So that's who I think is every man, Ted.
Oh, I appreciate it. I thank you for coming out and being a guest on my show today, Damon.
Wow, did I just get?
You just got co-starred.
I just got co-starred.
Yeah, well, assistant probably at best. This has been I'm Just Saying with Ted and Damon.
I thought it was supposed to be Damon and Ted. That's how I said it when it came in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. You're right.
You can't big time.
You're
at
right.
The end
It was
of
supposed to be.
You have to like take the whole show. You have to big time you at the beginning. Think about it. You can't big time you at the end. It's already happened. I mean, I'm just saying it's already happened.
Oh, you're just saying?
I'm just saying. So it's already happened
with Ted and Damon.